Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Canine Cannibalism. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Mondo Vixen Massacre by Jamie Grefe. Grefe? I heard a pronunciation that said Grefe. Don't think that's right, but it could be. I'm gonna go with Grefe, because apparently that's how you pronounce it in German, so I'm gonna assume the name is German, and that's how that's pronounced. I could be completely wrong. The book is 73 pages. It's not broken up into chapters, it's broken up into parts with little paragraph breaks like that. So yeah, 73 pages, pretty short. I'll give you a quick blurb. A gaggle of vixens attack Tom and his family, stealing his wife in order to brainwash her to become one of them. Now Tom's back, better than ever, and hell-bent on revenge. Going to be doing all the normal shit in this video. I will be giving you a content sample. I will be giving you a review and ratings of the book. And then we'll do a plot summary, and I think that's it. Oh, I'm also going to read you an excerpt, because the book's fucking crazy. This is a Bizarro novella, so it's fucking nuts. When I said vixens in the blurb, that's not code for anything. It's a bunch of women dressed up in weird costumes, but they're just called vixens. Like, that's a colloquialism in the in universe for a group of women who dress up in costumes and cause mayhem. They're the vixens. So it's nuts. It's nuts. Yeah, it's nuts. First off, content sample. If you were to pick up a copy of The Mondo Vixen Massacre by Jamie Grefe, and read it, you would find all of the following. You have your gore, torture, mutilation, and death. And then you also have maybe sexual abuse, including possibly sexual assault and possibly rape. The book has a single line that is as follows. Then a red-haired vixen makes him lick and slop up her gash. I'm gonna assume that is sexual, but it doesn't really tonally track with the rest of the book. I mean, it tonally tracks, kind of, but it's not. There's no other, like, sexual violence. Lots of boobs, lots of tits and that kind of stuff. Naked women. But it could be that she has a literal gash, but I doubt it, so. Anyway, then you also have maybe child abuse, which would possibly be physical abuse, and then maybe child death. There is someone's son at a certain point, and they're referred to as their son. And in the blurb on the back of the book, they're referred to as the person's kid. And they die after being abused by a perpetrator. And maybe they're a child, but their age is never explicitly said as far as I'm aware. So, who fucking knows? And then you also have vomit, including some emetophagic acts. Yeah. So that's it for your content sample. We're going to get right into our review, which I don't think I have anything to say pre-ratings, so we're just going to jump right into ratings. If you are unfamiliar with my rating system, I take a series of aspects that you could rate a book on, and I rate them. These first numbers are rated on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is really fucking bad, 10 is really fucking good, and 5 is mid. Nothing wrong with it, not good, not bad. For The Mondo Vixen Massacre by Jamie Grefe, your plot and plot direction, it's gonna be a 6. It is wild, it is crazy, and I sat for a little bit, I racked my brain trying to figure out the best comparison to make. The editor's note at the beginning makes an allusion to the book being like a Quentin Tarantino film. I personally, and keep in mind, lots of thought went into this, blood, sweat, tears, time, okay? Personally think it's like a combination of a cartoon chase scene, Thanksgiving 3, if you've seen that movie, but in a good way, because that movie sucks absolute fucking dick, and a splatter grindhouse film. All that shit kind of rolled into one thing. That's the best way I can describe the Mondo Vixen Massacre. There's not really another way to describe it. It's nuts with lots of hints of like action movie shit, but it's also nuts. It's fucking bafflingly insane, as a lot of stuff in the bizarro genre is. It's a lot crazier than something like 8-Bit Apocalypse. It still has that really weird, surrealist, distorted tone and prose, but it's a lot less completely fucking balls, or it's a lot more, rather, completely fucking balls to the wall crazy. Your tone is going to be a 6 out of 10. Generally, the tone that the prose and the absolute insanity happening throughout the book is able to evoke is similar to if you were watching a cartoon chase scene or a really, really zany cartoon moment in general. Lots of... like, if you watched a condensed clip of Wile E. Coyote getting fucked up trying to attack the Roadrunner, except like literally like condensed, like squished together, that's kind of how you would feel reading this book, I would imagine, because that's how I felt reading this book. I think that effect is achieved mostly through the prose and through just the absolute insanity of the plot. So, props to the author, I guess. Characters and character development, it's going to be a 3, and I can almost forgive it in this. They're not bad. They aren't even necessarily 2D, but they take a back seat to the plot. It kind of feels like they're specifically agents of the plot, and that's kind of a dumb thing to say, because obviously all characters in any piece of media are agents of the plot. The plot happens via them. In this book, it kind of feels like they happen via the plot, if that makes sense. The plot is using them to continue itself, instead of the plot being the result of the characters continuing themselves. It's kind of like inverse, if that makes sense. And again, I kind of forgive it in this because the plot is kind of the thing that's the most important in this novel or novella. So characters suffer a little bit, and it doesn't really matter much to me, if that makes sense. Grammar and typos, gonna be a 5. It's kind of hard to tell if there were typos in this book because some of the sentences seem illegible, but I think that's on purpose. For example, a good example of this, on page 40, there's a character who, light spoilers, who is dying, and they say, the stars are brighter is how I feel. Mentioning the stars overhead being bright. But the stars are brighter is how I feel, is the sentence that is said. That doesn't make a fucking lick of sense, but there's a lot of really weird, jarring prose throughout, and I cannot tell if that and other instances like it are typos or are intentional. Because I kind of, like, a little bit, like an inkling, get what the fuck this person is trying to say, but also not really. But there's other instances like that throughout the book, so maybe I'm not supposed to be able to understand fully? Who fucking knows? So I gave it a 5, because I can't really fucking tell. This book, it kind of feels like it's important to just not get bogged down on the details. Most of the time, when I read a book, I sit down and I try to understand every sentence so that I can give you a full review, or even if I'm just reading for my personal pleasure, I try to understand everything that is being said to me, alright? In this book, it kind of feels like you should just skim some sentences, because it's just a little fucking crazy. It's very jarring, there's lots of punctuation, there's lots of no punctuation. Like, there's like sentences with like multiple independent clauses with commas, and then there's lists right after that don't have the fucking comma right before the and with the last item of the list. So it's like, there's lots of punctuation, but then there's like not a lot of punctuation. It's very flowy at certain points, it's very jarring at others. It just feels like you should just go through it once and not try to get bogged down on the details. Your dialogue is also going to be a 5. I didn't really notice the fucking dialogue. I mean, it's crazy, it's zany, it's like 80s action movie stuff, one-liners, but it's not like, it doesn't really help the plot very much. There are a couple of points where it helps the bizarro theme, where a character says something that's very, very tonally inappropriate on purpose, but overall it was just fine. Your prose is going to be a 6. Now, again, it's very jarring and flowy, Jarring, flowy. Jarring, I guess. But it's very interesting as well. It's written like we're narrating a movie, but not like a screenplay. We're from the perspective of the camera. Like, we get the zoom-ins and the zoom-outs, and the camera swooshing up, and the camera going into someone, and now we're seeing from their eyes. It's very interesting, and I've never read anything quite like it. It's going to be hit or miss. I didn't really give a fuck. I thought it was kind of cool, but it didn't really... I didn't care very much. It didn't affect the reading negatively for me. I didn't like it very much, but it was cool. Personal enjoyment, it's a 5. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was kind of there. I thought some aspects of it were cool. And that's pretty much all I can say. It's a high 5. So, do with that information what you will. These next two numbers are your disturbing factor and your gross out factor, rated on a scale from 0 to 10. 0 is really not gross at all, not disturbing at all, and 10 is really gross, really disturbing. So, for the Mondo Vixen Massacre by Jamie Grefe, your disturbing factor is going to be a 2. It was kind of disturbing, not really. I just read the cuck. And if you've read the cuck, which I don't know if I'm going to be releasing that review before or after this one, if I released it before, it's kind of like the cuck taken down a few more pegs. Alright? It's really not very disturbing. And your gross out factor is a 1. There's like one scene where a guy is forced to eat his own bile, and that's pretty much it. Oh, as always, those ratings have nothing to do with whether the book is good or not. That's just how it is, at least in my opinion. Okay, that shit's done. We're going to jump into an excerpt real quick, just to kind of give you an understanding of how fucking insane this book is. This excerpt comes from page 32, and it is the following. Oh, also, light spoilers. You're not really going to understand what the fuck is happening, but that's kind of true for some parts in the book, even if you're reading it fully. So, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Here we go. Had enough, ladies? It's Tom, holding 2 tongueless heads in each hand. Pool balls smash windows, smash faces. Tom chomps nipples. Vixens pour through windows, hang from the rafters. The vixens are fighting each other. Then comes the heat. And that is one paragraph out of a multi-page fight scene between Tom and a series of vixens. So, that's out of the way. We're going to get into a plot summary now. Heavy spoilers at this point. We're going to go through the book plot point by major plot point. Shorter book, shorter plot summary. I'm going to leave out a lot of meat, but there's also not a lot of meat in the first place to go around if you're reading this book. So, yeah, here's your chance to get out. And here we go. Tom Clay is being tortured, as are his wife and son in the adjacent room. A gaggle of vixens in various costumes has descended upon his suburban house, destroying it and his family. His son is chopped up to pieces, his wife is kidnapped, and he is injected with a flesh-eating vixen virus and buried under rubble, left for dead. He rises later. A rogue vixen, unhappy with the group whence she came, says she'll help him get to his wife. She restores him to nearly full health with her girl spit, and informs him he has hours to live before the virus consumes his body. The two set off. After killing hundreds of vixens in a hole-in-the-wall bar, the rogue is apparently killed. Tom is then set upon by a bionic vixen and manages to defeat her. He makes his way to the vixen mansion to settle the score once and for all. His flesh begins melting as he fights his way through the mansion. The leader of the vixens, a jealous admirer from Tom's past, brainwashes his wife into loving her. Tom nearly makes it to them, but loses both of his legs at the last second. As the leader and his wife make their escape, a swarm of vixens descend on Tom. Just before he is killed, piles of rats come flooding into the hallway and turn themselves into legs for Tom. Then, with help from a python possessed with the spirit of his dead son, Tom battles his way through the remaining vixens and makes it to the leader and his wife. There, the rogue reveals herself to be alive, the wife breaks her programming, and the rogue, the wife, and Tom manage to kill the leader, burn the vixen orb on the roof from which all of the vixen power originates, and escape before the building explodes. They set off via helicopter for the Virgin Islands to live life to the fullest. The end. And that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Wow. I read all of my comments. I will give you a like, drop you a heart, reply if applicable. You can ask me questions. I may or may not answer them truthfully. And yeah, as always, I would highly recommend that you go and read The Mondo Vixen Massacre by Jamie Grefe. Form your own opinions. Always important. I will leave a link in the description as to where you can buy this book. I don't know if you can actually buy this book anywhere right now. I didn't bother looking, but this was like limited release. I'm not sure if it did like super well or anything, so who fucking knows. As always, my opinions are my opinions and my opinions alone. Anything else? No, I think that's it. See ya.